Hey everybody, time for another video game commentary playthrough from the Super Vader 400, the Brownstein Human, and Douglas Blair Roberts. And this time, as you can see by the title, this is the Mortal Kombat series. This is my my video playthrough reviews of Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11. These two games right here are two of my all-time favorite games um favorite games on the Xbox One and of the eighth generation. I think Mortal Kombat X is the best, with Mortal Kombat 11 having the best graphics, the best graphics and the best storyline. And Mortal Kombat X has the worst storyline of all time. I consider the games to be the best and worst games of all time, as you're gonna know why in the second part. Once again, I apologize for not having sound, and I also apologize for the poor quality in several scenes. Several scenes had to turn off for Mortal Kombat X, had to turn the video quality off to get the right picture. And Mortal Kombat 11, they wouldn't let me, so that was the best picture I could get. This will be the video game play. This will be regular tournament ladder playthroughs, tournament ladder and single one-on-one playthroughs instead of and next time I'll do the storyline of the game. But with that being said, let's get started right now. Alright, now it's time for the part 2 video playthrough portion of my Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat X review. And much to my surprise, of the three games I bought, this game is surprisingly the best game alongside Killer Instinct. It's way better than its most recent sequel, Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. Gameplay wise, the biggest this game is just like Killer Instinct, is the best and worst game It's the best and worst game ever. Gameplay wise, it's one of the best Mortal Kombats and one of the best fighting games of all time. However, however, the worst thing about this game is its storyline. This video game had the worst storyline I've ever seen, not just in fighting games, but in video games, period. No storyline was as bad, was as terrible, and was as boring as this. I've never seen a complete disregard for the lore of Mortal Kombat in this video game right here, right here. The new people who work at NetherRealm Studios now do not know this Mortal Kombat series and do not know what they're doing. Do not know what they're doing and did not do their research on the original games, which the original games, Mortal Kombat 1 through 8, those games barely had a storyline, but their storyline was surprisingly more consistent with less plot holes, less inconsistencies than this, which had a full-length cinematic story mode. Then, in the past, I've always wished for fighting games, especially fighting games back then, which had all super awesome storylines. I always wish they had cinematic story modes or quest modes, like in the later Mortal Kombat games. This story mode was so bad right here that I prefer, if not a quest mode, if not a quest mode, I prefer fighting in a tournament ladder right here, fighting in a tournament ladder right here, and seeing what the character did after the battle, or a story and bio at the beginning of the game and inside your booklet, your instruction booklet. That's how bad this storyline was. The storyline was the worst thing about this game. The graphics, effects, and acting was great, and motion capture work was great, as was the fight choreography. But the writing, which is what I'm talking about, was some of the worst I've ever seen in a quote unquote video game. We're gonna talk about the bad first, then we're gonna finish off with the good. So yeah, the storyline was the worst I had ever seen in quote unquote Mortal Kombat. It was so boring. I was waiting for it to be over. The story mode had its moments involving certain characters, but it was absolutely terrible. And what was your reward for completing this story mode? Yeah, I don't get the other costumes, the other skins of characters like Revenant, Evil, Liu Kang, Kitana, and Kung Lao. If you fight them if you fight or play as them in arcade mode, you get you get their past versions before they became Revenants. Before they became quote unquote revenants, and what in order to unlock them, you have to complete challenge towers mode. You have to complete the boring challenge towers mode to unlock the other skins, or find them in the crypt. Find them in the crypt. I don't know how you unlock everything in this game. Well, anyway, yeah. And your reward for that, after you defeat the final boss, you get Shinnok, the worst and weakest incarnation of Shinnok to ever exist, is right here in this video game. Right here, this video game. The the storyline is a mixture, is Mortal Kombat 4 with elements of Deadly Alliance, because they have characters. This game features characters from Mortal Kombat 5, Deadly Alliance, and the prequel comic featured even more characters from the 3D eras of Mortal Kombat, like Jarek, Movado, Suhao, and Reiko, Reiko, Reiko and Tanya, who Tanya and Rain from Mortal Kombat Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 have cameos in this video game right here. Yeah, storyline. The storyline was
The storyline was set several years after the previous one. As you know, in the previous one, Sindel wiped out half of the entire Mortal Kombat cast when Shao Kahn killed Shang Tsung and gave Sindel Shang Tsung swords. As such, they gave her the power to wipe out all the entire killing wipe out wipe out most of the Mortal Kombat cast in a single battle sheet. The casualties were Striker, Cabal, Cyborg, Sub Zero, Smoke, Jade, and Kitana, with Nightwolf being forced to sacrifice himself, and Johnny Cage and Sonya being the only people to survive the battle. Liu Kang, fed up with Raiden's incompetence and visions, finally snapped and attacked Raiden, and was accidentally killed when he charged a fireball, and Raiden used his lightning to block, and the lightning combined with Liu Kang's fire caused Liu Kang to be electrocuted and burnt at the same time, killing him. And Quan Chi would later resurrect Liu Kang and the rest of the people who died, all as undead revenants who, along with Shinnok and Quan Chi, serve as the major antagonists of the game and henchmen fighting for Quan Chi, which that's the first reason this series that's the first reason this story mode sucks. All the characters I want to play as are either in supporting roles, because characters like Sub Zero, Jax, I forgot to mention Jax and Scorpion, who is not a Revenant by the way, he's a Spectre. Scorpion all get freed from Quan Chi's spell when Sonya crushes Quan Chi's nuts. Yes, that actually happens. Crushes Quan Chi's nuts and yeah, finally did it. I've been trying to do that all day today. Yeah, finally did the fatality. Crushes Quan Chi's nuts, and combined with the Jinsei pool, a weird place called the Jinsei pool, are able to restore Jax, Scorpion, Scor- restore to their human forms Jax, Scorpion, Sub Zero. Yeah, are able to restore those guys, those three, I think. And yeah, but what I'm trying to say is those three play supporting roles. Those three play supporting roles, and the other characters, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Kitana, Jade, Cabal, Striker, are all bad guys in this game. With only Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Kitana being playable, everyone else are just cameos fighting for Quan Chi and Shinnok. So yeah, the characters I want to play as are bad guys or play supporting roles. Characters like Sub Zero, Scorpion, and Jax are mentors and parents to a new generation of Mortal Kombat based characters. And the Mortal Kombat characters is the worst group of Mortal Kombat characters I've ever seen. People hated Shinjinko and Taven, but love these. First we got the best. Let's talk about the two best. Kung Jin and Takeda. They're the best in the group, but they're just a kid version of Kenshi with elements of Scorpion, and Kung Jin is just a kid version of Kung Lao. This is a kid Shaolin version of Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and um is fun to play as, but it's nowhere near as interesting as either of the two. Is either two, and of course he's gay, which serves no purpose to the plot other than just be progressive, current, and with the times. Um, um, so yeah. Then of course the two worst. We got Jacqui Briggs, who Jacqui Briggs as a character is awesome, but I don't like her as a defender of the realm and as a combatant. She would have been an okay NPC character, and I guess hidden character in the game. And then you got the worst character. Cassie Cage, who I don't like her as anything. This is the worst protagonist, the worst protagonist, the worst protagonist, and the worst character ever created in Mortal Kombat was Cassie Cage. Cassie Cage. She was the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel of this series. She was a Mary Sue, extremely. First off, she sucked throughout the game, but then because of the green halo power Johnny Cage has, which his stupid backstory from his Mortal Kombat 9 ending was absolutely terrible, with him and his people his family being descended from cults and being for trained as warriors for the gods, something like that. Something like that. I liked it when he was just a ordinary guy with supernatural powers who wanted to prove he wasn't a fake. She inherits that, and uses it to defeat Shinnok, an elder guy. So so yeah, and the whole plot is just dumb. It's Quan Chi trying and failing twice to unleash Shinnok into Earthrealm via amulet. The first time at the beginning of the game, Johnny Cage defeats him with a shadow kick, and then Raiden uses the amulet to was a Johnny Cage Raiden seals him up with the amulet. Then he later does get released after Quan Chi gets brutally killed by Scorpion. He does get released, only to fall to Cassie Cage, worst Shinnok ever. In Mortal Kombat 4, which this is supposed to be a modern version of, the Mortal Kombat 4 storyline, which barely had a storyline, all he had was a couple of cutscenes at the beginning and end of the game, and a short prequel comic book. That was more story than this. That was a better storyline than this full length story mode. Story mode. The story mode rant and review. The story mode review and rant will be in a separate video. I'm not going to include it here. Same when I do the aftermath storyline. So yeah, the Mortal Kombat was way better, and that plan, while that plan failed too, that plan was much better than this plan. In that game, Shinnok, along with Quan Chi and with assistance from the Adenian traitor Tanya, invaded Adenia, posed as someone else. Then, when the time was right, took out an orb and hypnotized and imprisoned Sindel and Jade, while Kitana escaped, escaped to rendezvous with her friends and unite Adenian's forces, particularly the Centaur and the Shokan, where Goro revealed he was still alive. Well, anyway, he invaded Adenia to escape the Nether Realm. Then he confronted Raiden. Then he went to the Elder God's chamber to take revenge on the Elder Gods who banished him to the Nether Realm anyway. And it is here where he killed the god of Earth, Argus, and the god of Fire, and sent Fujin, the god of Wind, who has a huge role in the game, crumbling down to Earth where Liu Kang and Kai was. Then, after that, then he set his sights on Earthrealm by luring the Earthrealm fighters to quote unquote Adenia, where him and his forces were defeated. Now that plan still failed, but that was a much smarter plan in comparison to here, where he tries several years after not only Shao Kahn's invasion, but after they've rebuilt the special forces with a new team, capable of stopping him to invade Earthrealm, fails and gets sealed up, and comes back later only to fall to Cassie Cage. The only highlights to this storyline was Scorpion finally killing and getting his hands on Quan Chi, which sucked because which also sucked because that means the Revenants couldn't be set free, setting up Mortal Kombat 11, setting up the next game, Mortal Kombat 11. And then the whole Revenant thing was just stupid, was stupid and a waste of time. Only Liu Kang, Kitana, and Kung Lao get any sort of real personality. The others are just mindless henchmen, are just with no personality whatsoever, and barely affect the plot. They're just around to get knocked around by the heroes. Next is the Revenants are weaker than their previous selves because they don't have their bodies. They still have their powers, but they don't have their original bodies. They don't have their original bodies. As such, they are weaker, and characters like Liu Kang get smacked around by everyone. That's the second thing. And the thirdly is in Mortal Kombat Deception, they get the Revenants plot in that. That's where they get the Revenants plot from. Except it was Unaga, who is much stronger and much more powerful than Quan Chi and Shinnok. Much more powerful than Quan Chi and Shinnok. They get Unaga the Dragon King, to resurrect Kitana, Kung Lao, Jax, Johnny Cage, and Sonya as undead as undead remnants and slaves. Liu Kang, one by one, as a ghost, is able to purify their soul. Is able to purify their souls after Ermac beats them up, incapacitates them, and frees them, and what's the? So you're trying to tell me Liu Kang as a ghost can do that, but Liu Kang as a fire god in the next one, and a thunder god or elder god can't do the same thing. Here, even Raiden talks about that in Mortal Kombat 9, where he tries to get Scorpion to refuse to kill Noob Saibot. I mean Sub-Zero, fearing that it will bring Noob Saibot. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that here. So they gotta and then Quan Chi is dead. So shouldn't that free the Revenants, especially in the Deception? They did the undead zombie slaves, and in that game, when Unaga was defeated, the Revenants were set free. So yeah, and that would have made up for everything we had to see in this game. So yeah, Scorpion getting his revenge, Sub-Zero getting restored and becoming this Sub-Zero right here, the quality name with the suspenders. That's my favorite Sub-Zero. That and the Lin Kuei armor, and the regular Sub-Zero, his brother's outfit with the Cryomancer arms are my favorite Sub-Zero appearances. Then you got what else? Then you got oh yeah, Ermac. While it sucks he didn't meet Kenshi in this storyline to get free from Shao Kahn's control and become a force of good, he teamed up with the new guy, Kodo Khan, one of my favorite NetherRealm characters, alongside Geras from Mortal Kombat 11. I like Kodo Khan, the idea of a good guy Khan. Ermac joins a team consisting of him, Reptile, and a few more. else? What else about this game? Yeah. Oh yeah. Other cool characters like Rain and Tanya. Um. They're just cameos here. They're just cameos here. And characters like Reiko, Movado, and Movado and Su Hao were killed off in the comic books prior to this game. Prior to this game, and Jarek makes an appearance in the comic books but doesn't in the game. So once again, other cool characters from the past aren't here. Aren't here. In place are a bunch of guest characters, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool, but and a bunch of newbies. Like I said, nobody cares about. Like there's a cool Max Resident Evil character with a giant with a little guy on top. That looks like something from Resident Evil, not Mortal Kombat. Love all of the arcade endings, especially Sub Zero's, Scorpions, Kid Cheese, which Kid Cheese and Takeda's, which features an appearance from the character Taven, and Liu Kang's, where he conquers the Nether Realm, Kung Lao's, which his is awesome, where Kung Jin saves him from his Revenant status, which doesn't happen because he's still a Revenant in the next game. Kitana's, which sets up the events of the next game, and I like everyone's with the exception of Cassie Cage, where she somehow defeats Shujinko. But yeah, the storyline of this game was absolutely terrible. It's so terrible. Like I said, I only played arcade mode and regular versus mode. Yeah, you have an arcade mode, the regular challenge tower mode. You have classic, which I always play. You have test your luck, test your might, an endless tower, and a survival base tower. You also have a crypt, which I also think sucks. A conquest with a crypt in the same style as the conquest mode from the 3D era of Mortal Kombat. 3D era of Mortal Kombat, on which I feel since you have an interactive story mode, there's no need for an adventure quest mode in this game right here. Then this one is terrible. It's a lame first person quest mode. Then um roster roster in this game. You got a pretty good roster. You got classic Liu Kang, Kitana, Johnny Cage, Jax, Kung Lao, Scorpion, Sub Zero, Ermac, Raiden, Reptile, Kano, Boraicho, the Cyborg Ninjas, Smoke and Sector, Cyborg Ninja form, oh yeah, Tanya is in this game. I had no idea she was in this game. Um, Guest characters include the aliens from the Aliens movie, the Predator from the Predator films, Jason from the Halloween movies, and Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Massacre. Massacre, and Quan Chi and Shinnok returning as the main antagonist. With Goro, even though another dumb thing, Goro got killed off in the comics, yet he's a boss character in this game. Yet he's a boss character in this quote unquote game. In this game right here. Then yeah, my favorite characters to play as are Liu Kang, Ermac, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, 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 Kenshi, Kodo Khan, and everybody else. Everybody else except for Cassie Cage and Jaquee Briggs and Shinnok. Next, you get four different variation costumes when you um, complete several tasks, complete several modes and tasks in story mode. The only other good thing from story mode, like Kenshi, he has a different outfit in the game, but I'm playing as Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance Tournament Kenshi. My favorite Kenshi. Mortal Kombat 5 Deadly Alliance Kenshi is my favorite Kenshi. Ermac, one of the coolest characters in the game. You have his new looks, but then you can also get a weird feral look which has him unmasked and covered in bandages and his ninja look from Mortal Kombat 3, his classic ninja look. Same with Kung Lao and Scorpion. You also have their classic ninja looks in this game from Mortal Kombat 3. Then fatalities. I like fatalities if they allow you to pause and go look them up, so making it easier to perform a fatality instead of constantly looking in the instruction booklet for how to perform a move, or going if you didn't come with an instruction booklet, going online and trying to find what cheat codes and websites will shows you the button commands. So yeah, yeah, and the gameplay, gameplay is gameplay is a modernized version of Mortal Kombat 4, Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct, um, NetherRealm's previous game after Mortal Kombat, and before this, Injustice, which I think they do much better with the DC franchise. NetherRealm Studios is much better with the DC franchise than they do the quote-unquote Mortal Kombat franchise. The last one, Mortal Kombat 9, the gameplay was way too slow, lethargic, and clunky. This is more fluent. I still don't like the style. It's a 2D fighter, but this is much more fun. This is much more fun to play. Love the violence and fatalities, and love the special maneuvers. How they look in 3D. You saw look how they look in on 3. You saw me earlier playing as Sub Zero. He has several of his old moves, but several new ones. So yeah, this game was surprisingly of the three games I bought was surprisingly the best game. What else? What else about this game? And and everything in this game, in the story mode. Well, the worst part about this game, the entire boring story mode. Everything would have made that story mode much better if 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 the Revenants had been restored, but because Quan Chi got killed, they couldn't be leading us to the next game. But yeah, of the three Mortal Kombat games, this is the best gameplay wise, but this had the worst storyline. The next one I played, MK11 has some of the poorest and weakest gameplay, but had the best story mode. Had the best story mode and storyline. with Mortal Kombat 11, and then Aftermath. That's next when I get finished here. Now I'll be doing separate story mode reviews and rants for both. Well, that was it for Mortal Kombat X. You don't want to hear the rest of the music and see the rest of the gameplay. Turn the video off right now.